go. Unfreaking believable. Unbelievable. I gotta be honest with you, that game drove me nuts. I cannot believe the Buccaneers lost that game. Wow. I don't even know what to say. Tough one. Man, that was an absolute blazer from the Cougs, wasn't it? What a crazy game. The Bulls are bowl-bound for the third season in a row. An incredible performance. And listen, we know the competition. They did what they had to do. No more silver linings. No more moral victories. It was put up or shut up time. And boy, did they rise to the occasion.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome to the Recher podcast. Happy January 30th, 2026. It's a Friday, and we are ready for the weekend. I just saw my picture of where my seat is going to be at Raymond James Stadium on Sunday. Our good friend Deandra Lou is she's there right now at the stadium and watching everything being put together. It's so exciting. I hope you will be there. And if you see me out there, make sure you come by and say hello. I'll be there tomorrow all day for the practices and for both teams, the Lightning and the Bruins. And then, of course, on Sunday for the big game, the Stadium Series. I'm going to be there all day. It's going to be a wild weekend here. It's Gasparilla weekend. Everybody be safe, please. But this is why we love living here in the Tampa Bay area. Make sure you follow me on all social media platforms: Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, TikTok, Instagram. I am everywhere. Like and subscribe on YouTube as well. And of course, I can't do this without my partners, Honest Hammer Custom Builders, LLC, for all your residential and commercial needs. 813-244-0956. And of course, EverHealth, our EverHealth injury report every Thursday at 12:30 with Dr. Carlos Rodriguez. Another great one yesterday. My goodness. And also the super chats. A big shout out to our guy DT, David Terry. The $10 super chat, guys. Every single super chat helps. You don't understand what it means to be able to have you guys contributing to the show. $1, $2, $5, $10, $20, whatever. Man, I cannot do this without you guys. Thank you so much for the love and the support. He likes what he's seeing from Dominic James. Reminds him of Braden Point. And we can't get rid of Radish. I hear you, buddy. Tori is in the house as well. Janet Best and Dominic James, our guy Benny. You're late, Benny. DT beat you to the punch. What do we have in store for you guys today? We're going to talk a little Baker Mayfield. He was actually at the game last night. I wasn't at the game last night. But John Cooper was talking smack about me when I wasn't there, saying that I was a coach. Those kids didn't learn anything. I'm going to post it a little bit later on my social media. It's the way it is with Coop. We'll talk a little Baker. We'll talk a little Jon Gruden today, and something with our guys over at WDAE. Jon Gruden was on with our pal T-Kraz yesterday, and just another example of what we were talking about earlier this week about the media and in sports and people just not being accountable and just saying whatever the hell they want. We are living in an age right now with fake news. And it's not just politics. It is in sports pretty much every day as well. Do not believe everything you see. Somebody was asking me about something with the Bucs the other day. There is a lot of fake news right now, especially on Facebook. And I'm not talking politically. I'm talking sports-wise. And they're taking these little clips of things that are happening with the Lightning and the Bolts. I mean, Lightning and the Bolts, the Bucs and the Bolts specifically, and just misinformation, like saying the things are. I saw something the other day where it was literally quoting Julian Brisebois from something that he said in the fireside chat. No, I know every single person that's in those fireside chat. Nobody, you can't quote him. Nothing's on video. We're not playing any of the recordings. Everything that you get from that fireside chat is hearsay. It's something that you're going to get from the few people that are in there. And it was Ed Encina, Erik Erlendsson, Corey Long, Deandra Lou, Tommy Layberger, Julie Stewart-Binks was in there. Ben Pierce was in there. I said John Romano in there. So it's like, if you're not getting it from one of those people, it's not true at all because they weren't there. This isn't something that the TV crews weren't there. This isn't something that you heard from somebody else. So just be careful what you see and what you hear on social media, but especially on Facebook right now with the sports, with our sports, with the Lightning and the Buccaneers, because it's just dead wrong. It's dead wrong. So we'll discuss that a little bit. Erik Erlendsson joins us at 12:30. He didn't join us on Wednesday because obviously we had the Power Hour over at USF, but Double E will join us at 12:30 today on the program, and then we'll finish the program at 1 o'clock today. A Royal Rumble roundtable, the Royal Rumble tomorrow, Saudi Arabia, Riyadh. Who's going to win the men? Who's going to win the women? Who's going to win the other matches that are there? We'll chat with Corey Long. We'll chat with David Schiele from Channel 10, and also JC Allen. Our guys will join us on the program for the Royal Rumble roundtable, and hopefully they'll give better predictions than our guy Ed Encini yesterday. He said, I got a prediction. I don't know who's going to win. Ed, that's not a prediction. God dang it. All right, at Recher, follow me, like and subscribe on YouTube. I don't know. I had like a cut on my head. I don't know what's going on. Crazy stuff, man. But shout out to everybody that's tuning in. Make sure everybody stays warm. I got my folks chiming in from North Carolina. My guy Big Steve out there. Also, my friends and family from New York, and then people here in the Tampa Bay area. Again, could not do this without you guys. So thank you all. And look at Rolly in the house. Lightning played the least amount of games in their division. Feel like we've been saying that for weeks, Rolly, and still lead with 2 points over everybody. Just amazing. They continue to roll. More Lightning talk today. Look at Charles Carney. What a great name. Chuck Carney. Love you too, buddy. Appreciate you very, very much. Okay. So Baker Mayfield has apparently said, and this was on the Rondé Barber podcast, that he believes that Mike Evans will be back with the Buccaneers in 2026, even though they haven't spoken. So again, during an appearance on the Rondé Barber show, he predicted that Evans won't end his career after an injury-plagued season. He says this. Here's the thing. I don't really have to plea with it because Mike's too much of a competitor and cares too much about Tampa to end his career without 1,000 yards, without a division championship, without a playoff run. And that, first of all, speaks to who Mike is. But that's the truth. And he doesn't want to do that. And you could just kind of feel it. And listen, I don't have any info. I told Mike, this is your decision. Take your time doing it. But understanding who Mike is, that is my guess, that he didn't want it to end this way. So, with that being said, I mentioned this on the program yesterday. We heard that from the Senior Bowl that Mike Evans was less than 50-50 returning from the Buccaneers. And then I went on the air yesterday, and I wanted everybody out there to know, to understand, if you're not hearing that news from an Allman, a Stroud, a Reynolds, a Kaufman, guys like that here in the Tampa Bay area, it's still a wait-and-see approach. It's still business as usual. If you're not hearing it from a Tom Pelissero or one of these Jeff Darlington or Adam Schefter, if you're not hearing it from those guys, I'm just, it's a wait and see. Again, I am not in that camp thinking that Mike Evans is going to leave. I think he'll stay here and play one more year with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and give it one more shot, knowing that going into the season, all four of the wide receivers are going to be healthy. You got Bucky. Your offensive line is going to be healthy. And also knowing that Zach Robinson is going to be here, and that this guy's had experience calling plays in the National Football League. Now, when I said this yesterday, I told you, with that being said, I wouldn't be surprised if he played back home in Texas. I wouldn't. And again, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. If that's what he's going to do and finish his career in front of friends and family, then more power to him. He's earned the right to make this decision. Who are we to be able to say that's not the right thing to do, Mike? It's his life. It's his life, and it's his career. So if that's the decision that he ends up making, you feel bad, and it's going to suck. But it wouldn't be surprising. But if you ask me to take a guess, what would my guess be? My guess would be that he stays here. And that it does mean something to him to be a Rondé, to be a Derek Brooks. You can already feel that with Levante David. And that's the thing, guys. You don't see this much, and it's a lot easier for fans to go out there and say, just take the hometown discount. Like, you're not in that position. You hear people saying that right now about a guy like Darren Radish. The team's stuck with you. Take a discount. Don't max yourself out. Don't price yourself out from returning to the Bay Area and playing at Benchmark International Arena next year. It's easy for you to say that. But if you have an opportunity, and this is from a guy like Julien Brisebois, to sign a life-changing contract, ultimately, you got to do what's best for you and your family, right? Now, obviously, the Mike Evans situation is different than what we've seen from Darren Radish. But you earn this right when you get to free agency. You make the decision that's best for you and your family. And we'll find out when this decision is ultimately announced what is the most important thing to Mike Evans. And again, I'm not judging him. I'm not saying it's right or wrong. But we'll find out whether the thing that he prioritizes is finishing his career in the Tampa Bay area, or if it's to play the end of his career in front of his friends and family in the Lone Star State. We've never gotten to a point where Mike Evans has said that he only wants to play here. That's the other thing we have to be aware of, right? He's never flat out said, I only want to play with the Buccaneers. At least I don't remember that. Is that a little concerning? Maybe. You also want to make sure that you're not giving up any type of leverage either, right? You get that aspect of it because it's a business and it's a tough one. It is a tough business. It's a tough thing for fans to really understand, but you have to think about it from the player's perspective. It's very easy for these teams to be able to move on from certain players. And sometimes it's a little more difficult, and you got to make tough decisions, and you have to, not sign a guy like Steven Stamkos if you're the Tampa Bay Lightning, right? You have to let guys like Palat go and Killorn go and trade guys like Ryan McDonough away. Leave a guy like Yanni Gourde exposed in the expansion draft. Like, shit like that happens, man. It sucks. It sucks as a sports fan because you get attached to these athletes, especially here in the Tampa Bay area, man. We love being here. We love being here. We love that the athletes seem to just absolutely thrive here. And that's, again, I always go back to this, but I really hope that the Tampa Bay Rays and the new ownership, the new leadership kind of looks at this entire situation with the Bucs and the Lightning and understand the rapport that these athletes have with their players. I mean, think about how emotional it is for everybody when you saw Steven Stamkos return to the arena that first time. Think about how emotional it was when you saw Mike Evans break that, right, or get the 1,000 yards last year in that final game against the Saints. You don't think twice about spending your hard-earned money. You don't think twice about spending that time and that energy supporting these players and supporting these teams because of the dedication and the consistency and the loyalty that they have. The worst thing is apathy. The worst is like, I don't know, I don't really give a shit, blah, blah, blah. This guy will be gone in 2 years anyway. That's where we're at with the Rays. We want to talk so much about, the stadium and the team and this and that. Like, there's got to be some semblance of consistency and loyalty because it almost seems like a niche conversation to have. Who do you know? What do you know? What do you hope to happen? Right? You have to be like uber positive and optimistic when you're talking about the Rays at all costs. But it's like, we're getting farther and farther away from that World Series appearance back in 2020. Farther and farther away. And guess what? Snell's not here. Glasnow's not here. Kiermaier's not here. Willie's not here. Rosarena's not here. Lau's not here. G-Man Choi's not here. All right, Mike Zunino's not here. Joey Wendell's not here. Like, Josh Lowe isn't. Think about all the different players. Like, are any of the players left from that 20? It's freaking 6 years ago. Less than a decade. How many guys were on that team last year? That's what the scary part is. It really is. And listen, I hope for Mike Evans' sake that he ends up doing what is best for him and his family. But I hope for all of us here in the Bay Area, I don't want to see him wearing a different uniform. I don't. No thanks. Stay here in the Bay. Give it another crack next year. I think the offense is going to be fine. It's the defense. It's the defense that I really worry about. And I hope it seems like there's a sense of urgency from Todd Bowles when it comes to building out his staff. And I like that. This team needs a little bit more urgency rather than there's this, all right, well, we've been here, done that. We've got some veterans. We don't want to press them too hard. But nah, man. As much as we think that this team is good, they're, again, getting farther and farther away from their Super Bowl championship. There's a lot of things in sports that really I question. And one of the big things is teams that hang on to the memory of a championship way too long. Well, it was just good here, and we did it here. And it's just like every year you don't win, you're just getting farther and farther away from that identity. You have to continuously try to find a new look for your team. Every single year, your squad is different. Players are different. Coaches are different. Like, you never have, even the Buccaneers team that brought all 22 starters back, they still had different, they had draft picks. They had guys that left in free agency. I mean, that's just the way it goes. You have to build it's a new trek up the mountain every single year. And I think if you're the Buccaneers, you look at this team, and I think maybe the best thing to happen to them was missing the playoffs last season. And we'll discuss this next week on the show, but I really want to get into the whole Todd Bowles thing. I had this conversation last night or 2 nights ago about how I hope that we're all proven wrong by Todd Bowles. I hope we get to a point where we're at this point next year and we're preparing for the Buccaneers to be playing in the Super Bowl. Do you really want to go through this entire year of it being up and down and 9-7 going into the last week and not knowing if Todd Bowles is going to be the guy? I just hope that, I hope Todd Bowles proves everybody wrong, including myself. I was surprised. And again, you guys know, I was one of the dudes, one of the few that thought it wasn't a smart move to move on from him after last year. And then I told you I did a 180 degree because I thought there was more information in front of us and what is the best decision to make. And I was a little surprised that the Glazers ended up sticking with him. But I'm not going to be one of those guys that's just going to sit there and bitch and moan about a decision that I didn't necessarily agree with. It is what it is. I'm going to support Todd Bowles. I'm going to support him. Why the hell not? I don't want to see a guy do bad, especially because he's a great dude. I want to see him figure it out. Nobody's going to be pissed if Todd Bowles figures it out and this team goes to the Super Bowl next year. You're going to say, shit, man, I did not see that coming, but I am glad to be wrong. You put your hand up. Whew. I'm glad I'm wrong. Right? Otherwise, then what? You're just going to sit there and bitch and moan and just complain and hope that the Bucs lose so they flip the switch and get a different coach next year? Listen, we've mentioned this with Ian as well. Just because you get a different guy than Todd Bowles doesn't mean the guy's going to be better. He could be worse. You could get somebody in here, you think look at a guy like Joe Judge with the Giants. Everybody thought this guy's going to come in and he's learned from the Belichick tree, special teams coach, kind of like a John Harbaugh thing. He's going to be able to oversee everything. He's jumping in puddles. Everybody loves him. And he was one of the worst coaches we have ever seen in the NFL. Ever. So you could have a guy like that. You never know, man. You really never know. So just be careful. Be careful what you wish for. I hope that we're wrong about Todd Bowles. I hope we get to a point last year where we can laugh at ourselves and go, this team is in the NFC Championship game. This defense looks phenomenal. We can't get rid of Todd now. But if it doesn't happen, then we know what we're going to do. Completely wipe the slate clean, and it'll be a brand new team in 2027. All right, last thing before we get to Erik Erlendsson at 12:30. Did you see this whole thing with Jon Gruden and the news that he was offered a job on the New York Jets staff with Aaron Glenn? And when I saw that, I'm like, what? It doesn't even look real. It doesn't even look real. And then you end up hearing Jon Gruden on with our guy Tom Krasnicki on WDAE, and he was just pissed. All these rumors and that being one of them. And now you see everybody peeling back and retracting. It's again, man, this is the same thing that I was talking about the other day with media, TV media. And again, I don't even watch it. I see Get Up, First Take, Wake Up, Barstool. You couldn't catch me sleeping with those shows on the television at my house. Never, ever, 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 ever. No, thank you. No, sir. And I don't care what the ratings are. I don't care how much money these guys are making. These are multi-billion-dollar corporations. That shit means nothing to me. I'm speaking on my behalf. And a lot of the people that I know, like all of my friends that are in the sports world, none of them watch that stuff. None of the people that I know that are around the baseball community, none of them watch that stuff. And then you hear this about Jon Gruden, and you realize that it's not just TV. It's print, it's radio, it's everything. People just say whatever the hell they want, and there is no repercussions whatsoever. And it doesn't even seem like sometimes it hurts their credibility. It's crazy to me. I don't know. Be smarter. If you want to do anything in this world when it comes to sports, be a part of a smarter sports fandom, a smarter sports generation where you're not just believing any kind of bullshit that you see on social media all the time. Find the people that you can rely on for trustworthy information and stay with them. Benny, T-Kraz knows how to bring out the worst in people. Never had a chance 05. T-Spaz is unlistenable. You don't like T-Kraz? Come on, man. Come on. Nick KB, 9191. Jay, did you say what Emmanuel Acho said about Shedeur Sanders and Todd Monken? No, Nick, but I would love to address that right now because I think that Emmanuel Acho is one of the just most outrageously inconsistent and flip-flopping people in sports media, and I don't think it's close. Everything, it's this guy is so out of line and so off base with the things that he says, and you're gonna go out there and you're going to say, if I'm Shedeur Sanders, why am I listening to Todd Monken? What have you won on an NFL level? What? You're in sports media now. You're no award winner. You're a guy who got fired, and people don't believe anything you say. Who cares what your background is? Whatever you say is just complete and utter bullshit half the time. You're talking about a guy like Todd Monken that's worked with the MVP in the league. He was the offensive coordinator 2 years ago when this guy was the MVP. Todd Monken's the head coach of a National Football League team. He's the guy that the Giants wanted as their offensive coordinator. The Bucs wanted as their offensive coordinator. What are you even talking about? What have you won on an NFL level? It's a good thing the Rams didn't say that about Sean McVay. They never would have won a Super Bowl with him. What are you talking about? It's so weird. And let me ask you this, Emmanuel Acho. Would you say the same thing if it was a black head coach? He's the guy that likes to race bait a whole hell of a lot and bring race into conversations. Would you say the same thing? I don't think so. If I'm Shador Sanders, why am I listening to Todd Monken? If I'm Jay Recher, why the hell am I ever listening to Emmanuel Acho? That's the thing. Holy shit, man. Terrible. Terrible. You got to be crazy. You've got to be nuts. I don't believe that guy as far as I can throw him. And I threw 300 pitches last night in BP, and I can't lift my shoulder past here. Don't him and LaShawn McCoy, those are the people? Those are the people that you want to listen to? Get the hell out of here. And it's a shame, too, because I like Emmanuel's brother. I like Sam. Sam's got a big old smile on his face all the time. He looks happy as hell. I love the energy that he brings and the positivity that he brings. But Emmanuel Acho's another guy. Him and Ryan Clark. And it's like, oh, my God. Oh, my God. I just feel dumber every time I listen to one of the takes that they have. It's oh, God. You can say whatever you want. You really can. It's a free, we live in a free country, free speech. All right. But we are now in an age where this is how it used to be. It used to be that the sports media landscape was filled with a bunch of guys that never played. And you only heard these you only heard former professional athletes, maybe on a NFL broadcast or maybe on a radio station, but not as much on TV. You had some, but it was more analytical. It was more information driven rather than personality and take driven. So the majority of probably the terrible comments that we've heard came from guys that never played the game. But now, with the abundance of former professional athletes plying their trade in sports media, whether it's on TV or radio or podcasts or anything, the majority of the absolute shit takes that we hear on a daily basis in the sports world come from guys that actually played the game. That is sad. That is just horrifying. Nobody can ever take away what you did on the field. Nobody can ever say, and they can replicate or duplicate the experience that you have or had in the locker room and suiting up. Nobody's questioning your toughness. But just because you played the game doesn't mean you could just say whatever the hell you want. Well, I guess it means you can, but I don't have to believe you. More people mock Emmanuel Acho than praise him and respect him. Think about that. Think about that. Former professional athletes are losing credibility by the day. Now, will it ultimately affect the bottom dollar? Probably not. You know why? Because we love train wrecks. That's why the local news always starts with the robberies and the fires and the deaths. Unfortunately, that's society. So it's not something that is ever going to go away. You're never going to lead with the positive story. You're never going to get the gregarious, happy, jovial person as the color commentator. Oh, it's just not going to happen. But it is sad. It's a sad state of affairs. Acho says things that I doubt he even believes. Think about that. Think about that. You ever said that about myself? I hope not. Stick with Jay's Wrecking Crew for your sports intro. I usually like Acho. I did early on. Not anymore. That's for sure. Benny, I can feel my IQ slipping when I watch ESPN Talking Heads against my will at the gym because I don't care enough to change the channel. Eric Rivera, it's all about these cats getting attention. It's becoming a show instead of a sports show. I'm with you, buddy. And shout out to our guy Chan with the $5 super chat. What's Gucci? Jay Recher homies. Never had a chance on the treadmill at the gym, and no one watches the TV. They have headphones in. Having BS, Fox News, and ESPN on is a waste. And yeah, and that's what sucks. That's what sucks is because people dedicate their whole lives to covering teams and covering players and doing whatever it takes to make sure that they double and triple check their sources and their stories, and they go above and beyond and make sure that they're doing their job the right way. And then you have these former professional athletes that just hop on there and say whatever the hell they want. And it's just like, Well, we don't really need to have much truth to what we're saying because we've played the sport. Nobody's going to fire us. We're entertaining. We're polarizing figures. I guess it's just a sad state of affairs. And that's why, for the most part, I love the guys in the hockey world. I'm not a big Paul Bizanet guy because I think he's of that same ilk. But sign me up for a Henrik Lundqvist. Sign me up for a Pat Maroon any day of the week. And also, sign me up for this guy. He joins us every week on the program, Erik Erlendsson, LightningInsider.com. What's up, brother? How are you?
I'm good. It's an interesting conversation.
Yeah, man. You know me. I tackle
Oh
the tough
yeah,
topics. And
yeah,
I'm sure you agree with that, my friend. That, you've put in so much work over the years, Tampa Tribune, lightninginsider.com, to make sure that you're going that extra mile, to verify your sources, to talk to different people about a certain topic. And when you see things and you hear things that are just categorically false, it's just a little disheartening to me because these guys have that built-in safety net because they're former professional athletes.
yeah. It's it's disappointing, right? In some way. Look, there are some who are great analysts, but it's just I think in today's media, it's the loudest voice that gets the most recognition, and it doesn't matter what is coming out.
Yep.
It's just it draws attention, right? And that's and that's engagement is the key in everything nowadays, right? From a media standpoint,
Hmm.
because especially a guy like me who had that newspaper job for so many years, and now I try and continue to do the same type of work that I did for 16 years on the Lightning beat, and it's garnered some attention, but it doesn't garner the attention to make it sustainable, from a
Yeah.
profession standpoint. That's why I have to do stuff like, I mentioned the freelance stuff that I'm about to lose. It's a big
Mhm.
hit that I'm about to take. If I can't find something to fill that void, and the referee in soccer, which I love, don't get me wrong, but it is payment. It's
Yeah.
something to kind of bring in extra income because the website on its own. Because I'm not one of those who are just going to throw crap against the wall and hopes people pay attention to it. That's just not who I am as a person or as a media member. It's just not the kind of person I am. I give you a story, even going way back in the day, and this was long before the internet was really a big thing. That's how old I am, Jay, just in case anybody needs reminders. But it was under when Roy Cummings was the beat writer for the
Yeah.
Lightning. This is how far back we're going. He had a story one time where he had another media member call him and say, "Hey, I heard the Lightning are looking to trade Rob Zaminer. Do you think you can kind of look into that?" And Roy was like, "Okay, I'll look into it." So he went to his sources, and den- it's too juicy of a rumor. I'm going to print it anyway.
Oh,
Right, stuff like that. Like it's and I don't. I think we're still in some ways not in that mode, but there are still certain media personalities who are like that. Like they don't care if it's true or not. Does it generate interest?
right.
And I try and be analytical. I try and be insightful. I don't know
Oh,
what's going on. My internet was
the
working just
internet.
fine. I don't know. I don't know.
It's all right. Well, I
But
know what you're saying, though. Yeah, you're that type of guy, man. And the reason why we started talking about this is because of the whole thing with Jon Gruden and the BS about him with the Jets job, and he was on with our pal Tom Krasnicki the other day on WDAE, and you could tell Gruden was upset about it. He's like, no, man, there's no truth to these rumors, and Tom does that as well as anybody in our area right now, and in that spot that we miss our pal, the great Steve Dumick, right? This was a guy that it was ornery, but he got right to it, right? You got to cut
yeah,
through the BS. And I think that's one of the things that Tom does a great job, and Steve did a great job when he was on WDAE. And that's all you can ask for. You got to ask the tough questions. You got to be able to have these conversations, and you can't shy away from them. But there's also you owe it to the people that are listening to you. You owe it to the people that are watching you, that like you're doing it in a way where there's like it's rooted in fact and rooted in truth. We can all have our opinions on things. That's fair. But at the end of the day, if you're just pulling stuff out of your tuchus and you're throwing it out there, like you lose credibility. And
Yep.
it's hard because you and I, if we say something out of nowhere and we have no, it's not substantiated whatsoever, we can't go, well, we played 10 years in the NHL, so it is what it is. We can just move on. We could lose subscribers that way. We can lose, people wouldn't go to us for that source of information. And it's kind of a fine line, right? And I'm with you. And I mentioned this on the show yesterday, somebody commented like the reason why you don't have more followers and subscribers is because you don't sensationalize things. And he said it in a really like nice, respectful way. And I was like, yeah, man, you're spot on. I appreciate that kind of thing. So that's kind of the world we're living in now, right? I mean, you were so focused early on in your career of writing good stories, but now with social media, with Twitter, and it's just like it's a different ball game altogether, isn't it?
The squeaky wheel gets oil. That's kind of what we live in right now, and I mean, I don't like it. I'm not a big fan of it. I understand why it garners attention, right? But that's just it's not me. And like I know Barstool is a big thing. I'm not going to support Barstool in any way, shape, or form because of the way they went about sort of making a name for themselves. Right? I mean, well, I forget the exact situation, but when I think Jeremy Roenick was on it, right, and he's certainly a very outspoken former athlete. I mean, he's kind of the double-edged personality there. But they have Catherine Tappan on and started talking about like sexual things, like it got plenty of attention, but like at what cost? And that's I'm not that type of a person to begin with. It's not my personality, and I would never want that to be. Like if that's who you are in real life, that's fine. Don't put on a fake media personality just to garner attention and be the guy at the top of the soapbox screaming the loudest. It's just not me, and I don't like the trend that it's going. If that makes me a dinosaur, so be it. I'm a dinosaur. I get it. I've been around a long time, and I grew up in a different media world than a lot of more recent people have done, because everybody can have a podcast now, right? Everybody can get their voice.
Oh, you froze again, buddy. It froze right after you said anybody can have a podcast. Oh, that was the perfect timing. Man. All right, I didn't post the video, but I'm gonna try to post it later. So what happened yesterday at the end of the game? Post-game press conference. Jon Cooper walks in. Do you want to enlighten everybody about what happened? Because I'm mad at everybody there. Nobody stuck up for me except Corey, and I don't even know if he stuck up for me. But Jon Cooper was not thrilled with my lack of attendance yesterday.
Do I have to do this? I'm trying not to bring light to it.
I'm kidding. I'm posting on social media later because I got the whole video of it. But they don't ever post the funny stuff.
No, well, because it was right at the beginning, right? It's easy to edit out.
He knows now. He knows the deal.
Yeah. So, for recap purposes, somebody else was sitting in the seat that usually sit in on the far left there. And he comes in and he says, basically, I'm not used to seeing those type of shoes sitting in that chair. And that was my point, is like, do we need to legitimize Jay's shoes again? Like, does it need to be a topic of conversation again? So then he asked where you were. And Corey said you had baseball practice last night. You were coaching a bunch of kids, and Jon Cooper, being Jon Cooper, basically said, "Well, those kids aren't learning anything." But it was in a playful way. That's what Jon Cooper does. So
he said, "Go to jrecher.com." 12 years, he still doesn't know how to say my damn name. I'm telling you, on this weekend, I'm gonna say, excuse me, June Copper. I'm gonna call him June Copper. But what a game again last night. I mean, it's just these games that they're winning now. It's hard, man. It's hard not to go. And I said this with Dave Michigan the other day. It's like it's hard not to think back at when this team was at their best, 4 or 5 years ago, when it was like, these are the kind of games that they were winning. This is the style of play that they had. They were just playing the game the right way. They weren't playing according to the score. It wasn't the same guy scoring every night. And you have, Yanni Gord scoring and Darren Radish scoring. And yeah, Cooch gets the empty netter. But, I mean, when this team has been at its best, it's really been everybody contributing. And man, this team has just been on an absolute freaking tear the last month.
Yeah, 16-1-1 in the last 18. Certainly that one win in the first 7 games of the season feels like it was a decade ago.
Mm-hmm.
I brought this up this morning somewhere else. The stretch that followed the 7-game winning streak, where I think they had 2 wins in 8 games or something. Like, that was actually probably it's easy to say now, but a good thing that happened to them.
Yeah.
Because those games that they were losing during that stretch, they were losing basically 1-0, mm-hmm. right? Those 3 games against the Islanders, which were basically all 1-0 games. One of them did get into a shootout that they lost, and they certainly were not fans of Ilya Sorokin for a few days. But it kind of put them on a path of understanding that process over outcome, right? The process was working, the outcomes weren't there yet. But they stuck with it even when it was kind of trying from the outside. Like, there was a lot of noise from the outside. Oh my gosh, they had the 7-game winning streak and now look at them. But they were playing well and just not winning games. But they were playing and winning hockey. And they just kept with it. And you look at that game against the Kings, which was the last regulation loss until they lost to Columbus. Like, they dominated that game. They were all over the Kings in that game. They make a mistake. Pontus Holberg misreads a play, gives the puck to Adrian Kempe, and off he goes. And that's the one guy on that team you really don't want to give the puck to in that situation. And they end up losing that game, by a score of 2-1. But you look at, the analytics of that game and
You're good. Analytics of that game. Go ahead. You're good.
Yeah. They dominated that game. Process was there. They just didn't win it. And then they had the big comeback against Carolina after being down 3-0. And, the game against, Montreal just after Christmas where, they blew a 3-0 lead or 4-0 lead. And Montreal tied that game. But, the process was there and they trusted and believed in it. And now you're seeing that because they know that if they defend, then they have a chance to win. And that's what they're doing. So I think this is, 9 straight games? I think Vazzy has allowed 2 or fewer goals.
He's on a heater, man.
So last night's game, right? Like, he wasn't tested a lot. He only faced 23 shots.
He was probably pissed.
Had to stop a breakaway. Yeah, he probably was. But he had to stop a breakaway in the first period, right? With a vintage flashing out the left pad and getting it with the skate type of save. He stopped Kyle Connor on a 2-on-1 shorthanded chance the Jets had in the second period. So he faced a couple of those type of shots that if he's going to make those saves, then he's going to have a night. And he made them. The Lightning rewarded him again, just like they did against Utah on Monday. And so it's those type of moments that you're reaping the benefits of some of the, it's an overused word, but adversity you had in the early part of the season. Because you believed in it, and now you're getting the results.
I mean, you look at Andre. It's just everybody's talking about a lot of different things. Not only does he's second in the league and third in the league in penalty minutes. Oh yeah, because of the fight. So it's fourth now. With Nedeljkovic and Bobrovsky. He leads the league in save percentage and goals against.
And
right?
what's
that?
Second in wins.
second in wins. I mean, is it like the one thing that's not being talked about, I guess, when it comes nationally is like Andre Vasilevsky's on his way to winning the Vezina, right? Like he's got to, right? Like I know he doesn't have to, but I mean, he's having one of his best seasons, and I don't think people are talking about it enough.
They're not, and a lot of that has to do with Sorokin, because who's a Mike Kelly, who does a lot of the analytics stuff. He works for NHL Network. He does some local broadcasts as well.
He does great.
He he categorizes goalie steals, and Sorokin is probably double anybody else in the league in terms of goalie steals. That's I mean, Sorokin is the backbone of that Islanders team because they still struggle to score some goals. So that's
Not
why
anymore.
I think Sorokin.
Not anymore. They got a new guy.
They got Andre Palat now, baby.
My pops is happy.
Yeah. So that's probably but it's the same reason Nikita Kucherov isn't being talked about enough, right? Like McKinnon and McDavid have been McKinnon and McDavid, but if anybody's paying attention, Nikita Kucherov lately has been Nikita Kucherov, and he's entered himself back into the scoring race conversation. And, it's the same reason why John Cooper, of all years, this needs to be, the year that he really gets consideration for the Jack Adams. Will he? Right. I don't know. I don't think people are paying enough attention to what the Lightning are doing. They paid attention to them when they started 1-4-2 and haven't really paid attention to them since then, right? The only thing that, by the way, we're coming close to game number 60. We're going to remind Brandon Hagel.
You're waiting for that one, huh?
Yeah. So, it's just sometimes it's the nature of the market you live in. I think this weekend's going to help. The city and the franchise is going to be in the spotlight, because of the Stadium Series game and, the national broadcast. It's going to maybe people start paying a little bit more attention to this team and what they've been able to accomplish because, again, you've missed Hedman since November. You've missed McDonough since November. Eric Chernak missed 4 or 5 weeks. Braden Point is now out. And, you haven't felt their absence. And that's a testament to what the coaching staff and the players that they brought in. But, I mean, Dominic James is slotting into second-line center. And, this is a guy who parachuted into training camp. And he's your second-line center in January because of an injury to Braden Point. I don't think anybody could have predicted that. And certainly that's a testament to Dominic James, but it's a testament to the coaching staff to take a 22-year-old player who's coming straight out of college and plugging him into a hole that you need to fill, and you don't feel Braden Point's absence. That's not a knock on anything other than to say that look at this kid coming in and be able to fill this void. So, I mean, this team, for whatever reason, still doesn't garner the attention that they deserve. Even going all the way back to when John Cooper took over in 2014 and the success that they've had, for a decade plus now.
What excites you the most about this weekend, buddy?
The atmosphere.
Yeah.
It's going to be phenomenal, right? We were certainly both there in Nashville, and I remember popping out into the stands a couple of times just to kind of get that feel, and the buzz is different, right? It's just a different type of feel when you're out there. You don't have, the arena holding all that stuff in, and especially with this one, with the weather the way it's going to be, and a true outdoor game experience. I'm looking forward to seeing the treasure map down circling around the rink and what that looks like when it's fully put together. It's going to be a great weekend. I hope that everybody's going to the game. First of all, make sure you dress warm. It's going to be cold, certainly by our standards. But it's just going to be a fun, once-in-a-lifetime type of experience that I hope people really relish and soak it all in, because it's going to be an absolute blast. No matter what happens in the game, you're going to remember the experience of this.
Yeah, and the good thing about this entire thing is that it won't be like it was in Nashville, where Eric and I walked down Broadway for about 30 seconds and I got hit in the head with a beer bottle from the top of the thing. Luckily, it wasn't full. I was okay, but I mean, that's just your greeting. Welcome to Nashville. Boom! Beer bottle at the top of the head. What should everybody be keeping an eye out for on lightninginsider.com, man? Obviously, big weekend ahead.
Yeah, big weekend. Obviously, we'll have a big recap on Sunday of the game. The practice tomorrow. They're on the ice tomorrow at 11 o'clock to practice on the ice. The tent will still be up. There was actually talk because of the weather that they might actually take the tent down early.
Ooh, okay.
I don't know that that's going to happen just because of although the chances of rain have diminished, mainly because there's a chance of snow. But the chances of rain have diminished, more so than it was early on in the week. So I'm wondering if they don't revisit that thought process. And, so either way, the team is going to be on the ice, and the first time anybody would be on the ice with skates tomorrow at 11 o'clock. So we'll have a big recap of, the practice that they have out there, and kind of get the players and feels for what's going to take place, and then the game itself. Hopefully I can get to an advance or two to get posted up on the websites very soon. As I mentioned, I'm losing some freelance, but I still have some freelance to get done this weekend as well. So I'm trying to put all of that into place and get ready for Sunday, because it's going to be an absolute blast. And I'll have lots of social media coverage that day, because there's going to be a lot going on behind the scenes and everything else. And Jay, I know you will too. That's what we get going. So it's a busy and exciting weekend for sure.
That's right. It's almost like the little bit of the calm before the storm today, pretty much.
Yep.
It's going to be nuts. Gasparilla weekend here in the Bay Area. Erik_Erlendsson. That's a K, not a C. 2 S's after the D on Twitter /X. LightningInsider.com. Sign up today. Use that promo code JNZ. Get $10 off, not just today, but also every recurring season. This is why you want to freaking subscribe, support local Lightning Insider, because of weekends like this, and of course because this team looks like they're on another historic run. E, you're the man, brother. I'll see you tomorrow. Appreciate you.
All right, sounds good. Thanks, Jay. Be well.
All right, buddy. You too. The great Erik Erlendsson, lightninginsider.com. How about our field reporter in North Carolina, the great Steve Garner? The Vikings have fired their general manager, Kwesi Adolfo-Mensah, and this is not surprising to me at all. Hearing about some of the issues with him and Kevin O'Connell, and you got to look at the decision that they made to move on from Sam Darnold, and then you go out and you draft a guy like J.J. McCarthy who didn't even play in year one. And, I know some people looked at the end of the Darnold time there and say, well, yeah, it's easy to move on, but I don't know, man. I don't know. And you look at what Sam Darnold's made. I mean, he's got his team one win away from being Super Bowl champions. So you can say whatever you want of like, oh, he didn't look great at the time, but shit, man, we live in a comparative society. You always want to compare everything that's going on in your life to your last life, and your new girl and your old girl, your new car, your new job to your old car and your old job. If you're a Vikings fan, you're like, shit, man, why did we let that guy walk out the door? Because if you're Minnesota and you know how good your defense is with Brian Flores, and you could have had Sam Darnold this year with Aaron Jones, with Justin Jefferson, with Jordan Addison, not Jordan Addison now, with TJ Hawkins, right? Like, you had some good players, man. And instead you went with what you did this year. And it's just like, I don't know, man. I don't know. So you better be on the same page. And this tells you a lot, too, about Minnesota and who they value. I've been saying about this a lot, or I've been saying this about the Vikings a lot, and Kevin O'Connell specifically. He is in my mind, the second best play caller behind Sean McVay. The way that he goes about his business, and if you watch the first season of Quarterback on Netflix with him and his discussions and his relationship with Kirk Cousins, I was just blown away. I'm a big believer in seeing how somebody is and how they talk to other people. Like, how do you communicate? How do you disseminate your message to somebody in a stern way, in an encouraging way, but still be stern and still be like, you don't have to be all candy. I don't need everybody to be Dick Vermeil where you're crying and all lovey-dovey. I don't like that shit. I think it's a good balance. I think it's a good balance to know when to kind of ease off and when to kind of kick somebody in the ass and get them in gear. And I think Kevin O'Connell has that really good balance of knowledge and being informative and encouraging, but also with fire. We see that with Sean McVay. No surprise why those guys are so tight. I really, really enjoy his coaching style. And I think if there was a team out there that needed a guy like that's the type of guy that I would trade for. I think he's a game changer. Did it with Sam Darnold. He did it with Kirk Cousins. He did whatever he could do this year. I really like the guy. Benny, Jay, do the Toronto Maple Leafs make the playoffs this year? I'm going to go no. No, I do not think so. And it's because we're seeing historic runs from teams in the Atlantic. And it's not just the Lightning. You look at what the Bruins have been doing and the Sabres and the Red Wings. Toronto, they're worse than they were. They're worse than they were last year. They don't blow me away with what they do defensively between the pipes. Why would they're not better than they were last year? That team's weird. I don't know if you guys just saw and everybody, if you're watching right now, hit that like button, man. Smash that like button. Whether you're watching on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, whatever, smash that like button. Should Toronto blow up the team? I don't know, but I think they made some huge missteps. I don't think Craig Berube's the right guy there. You had a team that had this core four of guys with Matthews and Marner and Nylander and Tavares. And Tavares, just the way that you castrated this guy in front of everybody by making him hand over the captaincy to Austin Matthews. And then you keep him on the team and he re-signs there. It's just like, it's the weirdest thing ever. It's like leasing out your mother-in-law suite in the back to your ex-girlfriend while you live in the big house with your new wife. That shit is so strange to me. It's so weird. And I don't know if you just saw this recent study, and they said that they have like the worst atmosphere in hockey. And it's a different world, man. I'm telling you, I've been up there in Toronto, and thank you, Eric Rivera, for the kind first time checking out. Thank you, buddy. Hope you will be back. I've been to Toronto, and it's like they're in a different world up there. And I remember watching the All-Star game, and everybody's like, "This was the greatest All-Star game ever," and I was like, "Why? Why? Because Austin Matthews and Connor McDavid were featured? Did it grow the game?" I've gone to a lot of All-Star games. And the great thing about All-Star games is you see all these different people from around the world. You see all these different jerseys. I did it when I was in Sunrise in South Florida for the All-Star game down there. And it was so cool to see how many different jerseys. And I videotaped them, I videoed them, and I'm like, look at all these different, it's nuts. Then I went to Toronto, and all I saw were Maple Leafs jerseys. It was like a home game. I was like, this isn't growing the game. What the hell is this? And the fans were like, not even interested. Like, there's a certain buzz about the All-Star game that's completely different than anything else. It's almost like a concert vibe. It's not like a playoff vibe. It's a concert vibe. Everybody's excited to be there. Everybody has a good time, blah, blah, blah. Toronto's, it was just like a dull, like, oh, wow, look at Justin Bieber on the ice. He looks like he's drunk. Like, oh, wow, there's Tate McRae. Look how great she looks. Oh, Kucherov, what a dick. Like, that's really the only three things that I remember from that weekend. That and meeting Mark Messier. Thank you, Julie Stewart-Binks, our good friend, for doing that. Honest Hammer Custom Builders, LLC, for all your residential and commercial needs. 813-244-0956. I'm going to meet up with Hammer next week. And yeah, just such an awesome guy, man. I'm so glad that he is a part of the crew. He's the best. Again, if you're looking for something done with your house, again, it's not just your house, it's your home, right? Bathroom, kitchen renovations. You're looking for any kind of room in your house that you want remodeled, refurbished. If you have a plot of land and you got a brand new build on there, he's the guy. He is the guy. You trust him. He's Team Tampa Bay all the way. He's a USF grad. Check him out. Tell him that you heard it right here on the Jay Recher podcast, and you get a discount. And then also EverHealth, everhealth.org, 17 different locations in Pinellas County. The EverHealth Injury Report every Thursday with Dr. Rodriguez. Let's not forget, the first person to point out the Bucky Irving injury earlier on this year was Dr. Carlos Rodriguez. He was all over it. And the conversation that we had yesterday about bare knuckle fighting and the slap fighting and everything with the UFC and why they use the gloves that they use, legit. Dr. Rodriguez has been a team physician. He's been a ringside doctor for MMA and boxing. And this guy, he knows it all. So definitely check him out. He is the man. All right, guys, we do this every year. And of course, we'll bring in our good pals, David Schiele and JC Allen here on the program. We're waiting for our guy, Corey Long, but I don't want to have you guys just wait there in the studio. What's going on, fellas? How are we?
What up? What up? Can you hear me?
Yeah. You, JC, you're good? JC's
I'm good.
JC?
I'm good.
All right. He's ready to
me?
roll. He's ready to roll. Yeah, you're good. I think
Did you hear the
now?
entrance?
Can you hear me now?
Did it not go
I
through?
did it.
you hear? Okay.
It didn't go
wait.
through.
We
It's
totally
too low.
missed it. Yeah,
We
we
totally
have
missed
no
it.
idea what you're playing.
You're
It's
missing
the stone cold. It's the glass breaking. It's the
Ah,
most iconic
okay.
in all of sports entertainment. It's
Oh,
not about,
man.
Roadcaster. I gotta get it checked out. How we doing?
Yeah, we're good, man. We're good. I excited, very excited about this weekend. I was just watching the Royal Rumble kickoff show and Riyadh, which is, you never know what you're gonna get with those kind of things. But we're gonna start right off the rip, and Corey will jump in when he gets here. But David, we'll start with you.
Yeah.
I mean, we'll start with AJ Styles and Gunther, man. This is gonna be obviously a big match. Do you think this is it for AJ Styles? Does he go out? Is this his last match? Does he get retired by Gunther?
Didn't Shinsuke spoil that it was going to happen like on social media, like accidentally on purpose?
Oh, I don't know.
Like I think Shinsuke,
Accidentally on purpose. I think was a key word you just said there.
yeah, like because they wrestled for the final time on SmackDown, and then like Shinsuke posted about, he's like, yeah, man, AJ pulled me to the side, told me he was going out in the Rumble, and I was like, okay. So I think he's losing, which, you know what, I feel like they have really rushed this whole AJ Styles retirement thing. I know he wasn't going to get a John Cena run, but to just be like, hey, Shinsuke, let's set this match for Saturday night's main event. Let's set it on SmackDown. And then he goes to Raw. Hey, let's bring out CM Punk. And then Finn Balor interrupts. So him and Finn don't even get one final go, with Bullet Club. It's like you kind of rush this whole thing. And I think part of that is, I guess he's Mr. TNA at the end of the day. Even though he's given the last, 10 years to WWE, he's still Mr. TNA. So they're kind of rushing it. And I don't really appreciate that just from the wrestling aspect of it.
JC, what do you think, buddy? You're muted.
I don't like it. I'm with David. I don't
He
like it
doesn't
at
like
all.
it.
How am I?
You're good
Can you
now.
hear me?
You're good.
You're good. Yeah, we got you.
Can you hear me now?
Yep.
Yeah, I don't like it. I'm with David. I don't like it at all. I think a guy like AJ Styles, does he need a whole year John Cena run? No. But this
There you go.
just all feels very rushed to get it. And maybe due to age, I'm done, Apple guys.
Yeah, your reception. We got to get you out and come back in, bro. The reception is not going well for
This
you
man
right
is
now.
at the Wyatt compound.
My man, he's at the Hardy compound right now. He needs He needs the Vanguard to help him out.
Yeah, man.
Steve, our guy Steve up there in NC. I think the AJ thing is smoke and mirrors. See the Seth knee injury. It's why I have trust issues. LOL. I'm with you, buddy.
AJ had the fake retirement Mark Henry style with Cody.
He did.
So I think he's already used that card. So
I think he has.
I think he's already played the card. He can't do it again.
He should have wore the pink suit like my guy Mark Henry did, which is fantastic. I think this is it. I really do. I think you get to a point where, and we'll talk about this here in a little bit, David, but I think you have to compound and you have to continue to build on this Gunther thing. I wouldn't be opposed to him beating AJ Styles and then winning the Royal Rumble. Like I would in order for this whole Gunther thing to work, it's almost like you have to continue to pour salt in the wound, because what's going to happen? Like, you have to give him opportunities to be a dick over and over and over and over again. All right, let's say he beats AJ Styles, then what? Who's next?
Yeah.
He has to go for a title. He has to do something. There's nobody else of that ilk. Was he going to wrestle The Miz? No. Is he going to wrestle CM Punk? I don't know. Is he going to? He's just going to have to continue down that course. Now, I know a lot of people were thinking that it could be him versus a guy like Brock Lesnar. You know, does that need a title? No, but I mean, who's to say that Brock doesn't come back and win an Elimination Chamber with the belt on the line, right? Like, we just don't know. But I think that you have to continue to make Gunther strong, but not just strong, but be the guy that's still pissing people off.
Yeah, no, I mean, the best thing for them to do is keep him as the top heel who's on fire. There's only so many people he can retire. Like,
Yeah,
you know, I mean, you have that string of, hey, I retired Cena, I retired AJ, I retired Goldberg. Okay, cool. You know, like that's great. It's going to get you a lot of heat. He had all the heat in the world after Cena tapped. So yeah, how do you capitalize on it? I think you definitely have him go over, but I don't. To me, the AJ match would have to start the show,
right.
and
Yes.
then Gunther comes in at what, number 30? Even though that'd be kind of cheap because Gunther doesn't need 30, but let's
But that's
say
what you need. But I think that's
yeah.
what you do need. I think you do need for it to be cheap, and I think
Yeah.
it needs to piss more people off. JC, I was saying that, hey man, why not have Gunther beat AJ Styles and then win the Royal Rumble? I mean, I think they have to capitalize on the heat and capitalize on him pissing people off. What say you?
Yeah, I mean, or ultimately we're setting up Gunther and Brock Lesnar at SummerSlam for Brock's final match. I'm assuming that. So automatically this is becoming a thing for Gunther, as he's going to be retiring people and defeating these legends and being their last match. So anything you can do to keep that heat going, whether that's a feud with CM Punk or a feud with Drew McIntyre or whoever it is, and potentially putting a strap on him for that match as well. I mean, that's something that, you know, Paul Heyman's thinking about SummerSlam while you're thinking about WrestleMania. So keeping the heat on him, having him win any means necessary, whether that's dirty, whether that's clean, and then, you know, attacking Tozawa and and winning that thing by setting the stage by eliminating Brock Lesnar. You know, I don't know. Unreal's got me thinking in the future in advanced steps, but it's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting to see what they do with Gunther and how they keep the heat on him. And I think winning the Rumble is one way to do that.
Our good buddy Corey Long joins us on the program. Corey, what do you think? Any chance that AJ Styles wins, or is it for him?
I don't see the I don't see the plus side in him winning, to be honest with you. I don't see where it advances anything because they technically had him win the first match, you know, and they had the controversially tapped out. So to beat him twice, you don't have anywhere to go from there. So I think, I'm not sure why in particular he, you know, if this is going to happen, that he's retiring much earlier. You know, you thought you'd get kind of a full year out of him, but I mean, the guy's 45 years old. He might just be beat up right now and just wanted to kind of have a few last matches with his friends. You know, Shinsuke, the match with Punk. Surprised he didn't throw a match in there with Finn Balor, because I know they're old Bullet Club boys. But yeah, so I think Gunther wins. I don't see any reason why he wouldn't. It doesn't. If he doesn't, it doesn't really help him out, especially given where they're trying to go with him. Apparently, like if you're really going to do a program with Brock for WrestleMania, you can't be losing.
Yeah,
you just can't. Like, it makes no sense. It makes zero sense.
Yeah.
That's the one thing that, you know, Triple H has tried to do, is have stuff make sense. Like, if Vince was there, yeah, I mean, heck, Vince was there. Gunther might get squashed in 75 seconds. You know, you might just get squashed and lose by a roll up. Like, it just doesn't matter. But yeah,
I just wanted to get old, the shtick to get old. Like, you know, Randy Orton was a legend killer, but Randy Orton was in his 20s, you know, like doing this stuff. You know, what is Gunther, 37 or something like that? Like, he's not a spring chicken by any means. And, you know, now every opponent he needs to face is going to be like the last two. This will be the last three opponents really, marquee matches.
Yeah.
that's been retirement. It's like, is that going to be, and if it is going to be Gunther and Brock, which I think everybody wants to see, again, there's another one. So how many of these things can you do?
Yeah, how many times you go to the well? I'm with you guys. All right, the other big one-on-one match, obviously we're seeing Sami Zayn against Drew McIntyre. Sami wins the big matchup there to set himself up. I mean, this is, when you look at it, a guy like this in Saudi Arabia, Drew McIntyre has been waiting to be a champ for a long time. Corey, what do you think about this one? Any chance that Sami shocks the world and gets his first world heavyweight champion? Although it would be WWE champ, first heavyweight champ in the business.
I mean, I guess I could see like a quick title flip, and what I mean by that is Sami winning Saturday and probably losing Friday or something like that. Like if he wins, it would not be a long reign. It's probably, I don't think they really want to go into WrestleMania with him being champion, but it would be kind of cool for him to have it. So, and it would kind of fit Drew's sort of miserable state for him to lose and then try to, finagle his way to a quick rematch to get it back. It would kind of work with him because he's doing such a good job at just being miserable. I don't think nothing would help him be more miserable than losing, especially, if it's some sort of a, kind of a screwball-y finish or something like that. So do I think Sami's going to win? Probably not, but I could certainly see them doing a quick title change and then a title switchback. So that it's certainly possible.
Yeah, I'm with you. It'd be cool if like Kevin Owens came out in Riyadh and and like he comes out and it distracts Drew and then Haluva kick 1, 2, 3. But you're right though, because Sami Zayn's a guy that he's better on the chase, right? It's a better story for him. Like he doesn't, it's better for him. Yeah. It's just for him. It's not like him walking around with the belt. Again, the chase that they had to beat the Usos, like it was cool what they did. They won the tag team championships, in WrestleMania in the main event. But then when they were the champions, it was like, yeah, right. They were the champs. They had some good matches. And it was like, we got to move on. And they said it themselves. It really wasn't a great title reign. What do you think, JC? Any chance for Sami?
I think what Corey said, it would be cool, right? Because Drew's never finished his Bloodline Hunter storyline, right? And Sami is directly tied into that. So if somehow you could loop all this in together and maybe revisit that that Roman and Drew McIntyre situation, if it is a quick flip back and forth, it'd be interesting. It's, for me, it's really a coin flip, and I don't think it should be. I think it should be Drew. But we're talking about the WWE. We're talking about the first Royal Rumble in Saudi, and we're talking about, what does everybody want? Viral moments. And what's more viral moment than Sami Zayn holding the championship in his home country or whatever, where he, that's always eluded him.
From Quebec, man. He ain't from from Saudi Arabia.
He's got family.
He's got Middle East ties.
He's got Middle East ties. You know what I'm saying, man? I'm not saying he was born, but that's what I'm saying. Like, it creates a viral moment. It creates a very big viral moment. And that's what it seems like the WWE really cares about right now, is viral moments, especially with this whole AJ thing. If this wasn't an AJ prompted thing, we're like, hey, I'm going out at Royal Rumble, so let's figure this out, which it probably was. I don't know. It's just viral moment things, and it's overtaking storylines sometimes for me. And it's a big viral moment to have Sami win.
Yeah, you're not wrong with that. Steve Garner with the $5 super chat. I want you to answer this one, David. They could be setting up Sami up to beat Drew, then hold that until Mania when the heel turn for Cody is almost done. Then Cody beats Sami to complete it. And I think what we've seen, and thank you, our North Carolina correspondent, Steve Garner up there. I feel like that's part of this whole thing too, right, David? Like, as much as this is about Sami and Drew, I feel like Cody's lurking around there too, because they're kind of it seems like they're just keeping him busy with Jacob Fatu right now, but you would think the WWE would want him in that storyline and want him in the picture, because I find it very hard to believe that you're going to go into WrestleMania season and not have, you can't have Cody, Rollins, Reigns, Punk, like all of these guys not involved in a title match. It's pretty wild.
And you can't have all of them be faces.
Yeah, exactly.
So I think, first of all, I don't dislike that idea. I also have been saying for a long time, if you're ever going to do the Cody heel turn, he has to do that out of the title picture at first. That has to be established outside of the title picture, because he was holding the belt for so long that I was like, he's not going to do a double turn with Cena. That's stupid. He's not going to do a double turn with Drew with the belt. That's stupid. So he would have to be out of the title picture, which he is. So I think it's a very, very good point. And yeah, I mean, you talking about getting some heat. How about beating up a crowd favorite? Now, Cody's a crowd favorite, but if he's starting to turn a little bit and then he beats the crap out of Sammy and he's like, look, Sammy, I respect you, but like compared to me, bro, you suck. And then, and then
I like that.
And then he whoops him. Then he's like, I told you. He's like, I'm the quarterback. Did y'all forget? I'm QB1 around here. I beat Roman. I beat Sammy. And, I'm not against that. That's a good idea.
Or they could keep him out of the title picture for a while. And that could be something where I'm QB1. Why am I messing with Jacob Fatu and this dude? I should be in this title scene. And if I don't have the title, you should be finding ways to get me into a program where I can get the title back. I'm the QB. I'm the face of this place. And maybe that's how they can do it and just kind of do it without the title picture that way organically.
I like that. Tampa Bay 2020 wants to chime in. What the hell are we talking about? Lightning are killing it. We talking about wrestling. Bucks new coaches. You guys have anything for them? Come on, bro.
Get into the show, bro.
Watch the first 45. Watch the first 60 minutes.
They come in here a minute and an hour and 16 in and just start asking things, bro. You want wrestling?
We do a WrestleMania roundtable, Royal Rumble roundtable, SummerSlam roundtable. That's it. That's it, guys. That's it. All right, let's go to the women's Royal Rumble match.
Wait, do you think there's going to be another match added to this tomorrow?
No. They're trying to keep it low key. They're going to give these matches now. So what that tells me is, when it's 4, and they don't try to overdo it when they go overseas like that, all of these are going to be, well, we know the Royal Rumble match is going to be at least an hour 10, hour 15, both of them, right? So with all the pomp and circumstance, right, that's almost 3 hours you're going to get just from those 2 matches. And then the title match, Sammy and Drew are probably going to, that's the thing with both of the one-on-one matches, those are both going to go 20 plus minutes too. So you're already looking at I don't think that they're going to go crazy and have to put anything else in there. But I want to ask you guys about the girls.
Here was 4 matches.
Yeah, I know. That's what they're doing. They're erring on the side of not overdoing it. JC, women's Royal Rumble match. I think a lot of people are kind of circling the return of Bianca Belair, and this could be the time for her. Is there anybody else? Is it kind of Bianca versus the field in your eyes?
Yes, because I think Bianca Jade is what you've been setting up for since Jade stepped foot into this company. And I think Liv can win it at Elimination Chamber or maybe somebody else. But I think it just makes too much sense to have those two go at it. I would say Lash Legend, though, she kind of gives me, she's kind of my like wild card in this that could win, because I think that would be a pretty good program too. And you could keep Bianca Belair busy with, Naomi or someone in the meantime. I still hope they do a draft because I'd like to see the roster.
Naomi's 7 months pregnant. That's going to be interesting. That's going to be
Nia Jax.
That's a pretty good. Pretty good feat. I can just beat if you beat up a pregnant woman. Hey, she's either the 3rd trimester you're out there.
Hey, her body, her choice, man. If she wants to do it, let her do it.
Oh my God, that's funny.
But no, I mean Nia Jax. Yeah, it's something like that. But yeah, it makes a lot of sense to set that up. And I think you can get somebody else set up because there's so much history in that program too. You can get somebody else set up with the less amount of time, I think, with Elimination Chamber win. Yeah,
and I think, David, we've talked about this too with like Bianca and Jade. Is this the year that you capitalize on it, right? They've been waiting for this. We've talked about the 3-way with Naomi, but she is pregnant. We hope everything's good because we haven't seen Jimmy on TV for the last couple of weeks, and Jay keeps mentioning them. So, we know how it is, man. You just, thoughts and prayers, hope everything's going well with them. But I mean, it just seems like that's the easy answer. And I think we had this conversation last year where it seemed like Charlotte was kind of the easy answer. I think Bianca's probably the easy answer this year, but man, just watching today, I mean, Liv Morgan, she is like still piping hot wherever she goes, even though she's in a heel group with the Judgment Day. I mean, do you set something up with her? You know, I brought this up to Corey the other night. I think Raquel Rodriguez, they're trying to push her using the big sexy moniker. We know that she's talked to Kevin Nash about how to be a bigger heel. I wouldn't be surprised if she wins it, but actually I would, because she's in the street fight on Monday against Stephanie Vaquer. So now I'm talking myself out of it. I think it's probably going to be Bianca or Liv, right, David?
Yeah, your winner's Bianca. Sometimes the easy answer is the right one.
Yeah.
And I know people like the whole, well, you never really know, and you want to have the suspension of disbelief. I'm like, I really don't know, but I feel like we knew, like when Cody was going to return to the Rumble after his torn pec, he was going to win. Charlotte, we knew, had a good feeling. I enjoyed the moment of Jey Uso beating Cena because we figured Cena was going to win. But I was like, you know what? Jay's hot right now. So to that point, I can see Liv Morgan winning. Yes. But you've got Bianca coming back. Jade, as we've talked about, is the biggest intimidating heel champion they've had in a long time, of like, who is going to beat this version of Jade?
Right.
It's going to be her. Okay? It's going to be her. That's who's going to do it.
Yep. What do you think, Corey?
Yeah, I mean, I was thinking Bianca, Liv, or Tiffy time if Tiffy returns.
Yeah.
That was really about it in terms of who would win, and it would make sense for Bianca to win. I mean, what did she win? She won about 6 years ago. I think
she won in the Thunderdome, right?
Yeah, she won the Thunderdome one. Yeah, heading into the Tampa WrestleMania. So I think Bianca's a good choice. I think you want to hit with Bianca and Jade. I think that is a WrestleMania match, quote unquote. And you feel good about where Jade is right now in her run as a heel, as a really dominant figure that, it should work out. It should work out to be very good. Bianca also took a fall last year in WrestleMania, so you don't have that. She's undefeated in WrestleMania anchor to worry about. So you really can dig into maybe a more detailed, longer running story between, kind of a clash of these, amazing looking physical specimens here. You can work that over time. However you want to work it, you can do that over time.
I feel like we know what the women's situation is going to look like for a while now, because there's so many tag teams right now, right? And I think you kind of know where. I mean, the other answer too is, how much longer do you want to run with the Becky Lynch as the IC champ? Do you want, she could be the person that upsets the apple cart a little bit, right? I don't really see any surprise entrants coming in. Nobody from NXT that's really gonna, will Jordan Grace come out?
I think we might get Paige.
Yeah, I mean, that would be. I mean, AJ Lee's probably going to get in there. So I think you're setting up AJ Lee and Becky Lynch for WrestleMania, right? So, AJ Lee can come in and dump Becky Lynch over the top. So I think that makes sense because, you have so many of your big names tied up in the tag division now. I think they like that. I think they like that it's Rio together, Alexa Bliss, Charlotte. Any other year, I think they would be worrying about trying to shoehorn them into the main event scene, but I think because so many of them are in the tag team, we're destined for a 5 tag team ladder match at WrestleMania with all those teams. I think we can all see that coming. And then lastly, the men's Royal Rumble match. Give me your winner, and then give me the guy who you think is going to surprise and show up out of nowhere, because Triple H said there's going to be a lot of surprises. Corey, we'll start with you. Who wins and who's your surprise?
Start with David.
Start with David. Okay.
Okay. So because Sammy's not in the Rumble, because he was actually going to be my choice, because he's not in, I think it's going to be Roman eliminating the star of the Rumble, Obafemi. I think Obafemi and Roman are the last two. I think people feel like, I think Oba's going to win this, and then Roman ends up winning it. I think that's probably the choice they go with. And I wouldn't mind that. I think that'd be pretty good. As long as Oba gets a chance to shine, I think it's going to be good.
Yeah, and I wonder, too, where Trick Williams fits into this, because I hear people saying Obafemi, But I think as much as they've done the video packages and the montages, Trick's been on air and he's been in the ring with all of these guys. I actually think if it's not Obafemi, I think Trick might be in that spot too, right? I think either one of those guys, if not both of them, are going to have a big spotlight shown on them tomorrow. What do you think, JC?
It's tough because there's so many different ways to go with it. And with Elimination Chamber giving you the second opportunity too, it makes like it doesn't steal the buzz from the Rumble, but it also makes you think past it. Like, okay, who should get the Rumble moment, and then who should get the Elimination Chamber moment? And I want to say they strapped the Rocket to Braun. I really do.
Yeah.
But I also could see a situation where it could even be Logan Paul, like, have him kind of turn on the Vision. I don't know. The storytelling has been all over the place for WWE the last year. So it's like, it's hard to kind of get a beat on what they want to do because they can set so many good storylines up from it. So, I mean, I guess I'll go with the easy answer and say LA Knight. No, I'm just kidding. That would never happen. But I think Braun Breaker, I think they really want to strap the Rocket onto this guy. I think it's too early, but I think they really do. And I think he's the future. So why not get him into a future? He doesn't have to win, but get him in that main event scene to build for the next future Rumbles. And I don't know, Powerhouse Hobbs probably makes his debut. Probably
Yeah.
the new guy they signed from New Japan, or whoever that guy's that's coming over. I forget his name. I just read about him the other day. There'll be some surprises. It'll be fun.
I'm glad that you said what you had to say about the Vision stuff, because I can see this going in a couple of ways. I could actually see Seth Rollins coming out like John Cena did all those years ago, way early, not doing much physical contact and winning the Rumble, because it sets up another thing with him and CM Punk. Also sets up something where he's still battling with the Vision. But there's part of me that I'm with you, JC. I don't want to see dissension right now between the Vision. You just put these guys together. I want them to be a force for months before you plant the seeds of dissension.
Need to be a force. They're not a force right now.
Yeah, I want to see remember when Randy Orton won the Royal Rumble when Legacy helped him out the entire time? Yep. I want to see that. I want to see Obafemi whooping everybody's ass and then he gets tossed out by Bronson Reed, pissed everybody off. Like, you need to plant these seeds that these guys are legit. And then in the long run, even if Seth, like, let's say Seth doesn't come back, then over the next couple of months, maybe Austin Theory is the guy that's poisoning them from the inside out. And then him and Seth and whoever else, maybe he works with Powerhouse Hobbs and they go in that direction. What do you think, Corey?
I mean, the problem with like the legacy comparison is that Cody and Ted DiBiase Jr. just were nowhere near on Randy Orton's level. So it was never any doubt where the chain of command was there. Like,
but they've also came out on SmackDown, and they also came out during the kickoff show today, and they all said that Bronson Reed said himself, "I will jump over the top rope."
That's what Bronson Reed said.
No, I know, but that's what I'm saying. Is like a lot of times. Yeah. What is your booking hat telling you? Your booking hat's telling you, all right, they say that now, but when they get into the match, it's going to be every man for themselves. No, I would actually for once to be able to see them like follow through with that, because that'll piss everybody off.
I think I do think there'll be some alignment, but I think in that group you got Braun, you got Logan Paul that are both kind of positioning themselves as alpha types, and probably, that's where I think if you're going to see any sort of kind of goofy conflict with the group that isn't quite on the same page, that's where it would be. Yeah, Bronson Reed, he's kind of established himself as sort of a second to Braun. Austin Theory's kind of just there right now. So, I'd say if Braun isn't winning, if there's an issue with the Vision, you're gonna see it be a Braun Logan Paul thing where they're just kind of both jockeying for that number one spot. So but I don't know that's going to happen. I kind of like what David said overall. I mean, I definitely could see Obafemi. They'll do him either one of two ways. Either he'll hang around to the end, or he'll come in like a whirling dervish and eliminate 6 or 7 people out of nowhere, then end up brawling with somebody.
Brock Lesnar, maybe. Set up a program
Yeah,
between
I mean,
Brock
like,
and
yeah,
Obi.
he'll end up in a situation with somebody that is on his level physically that looks good, and they'll fight it. They'll fight it out, and that'll be that'll be like the deciding factor. But yeah, I mean, who's winning? It is hard to say who's going to win because I was far more believing that Roman would win last year than this year. I don't know what they got from Roman right now. Like, he just hadn't been around, and it's like I feel like they'll probably maybe try to even revisit his issues with Bronson Reed, his issues with some elements of the vision, and kind of keep him on the back burner a little bit. It's Roman. You could always heat him up. You can always do what you need to do. He's still, he's still like he's still kind of the guy that moves the needle. And, and I think a lot of the decisions about what he does from this point in, deal with how much he really wants to do, how much he wants to be on TV from week to week, how much all of those things happen. So, yeah, I guess Braun. I feel like Braun makes more sense winning the Chamber, but yeah, why not? I'll say Braun wins the Rumble. Well, I'll go there. We'll go Braun Breaker. I don't think he's ready. I think his match with CM Punk showed that he still has some work to do on working at that upper level, but you can't really argue with the star power that he presents to you and the things that he can do well. So let's go there.
The more excitement and the more surprises, the better. Make sure you follow him on all social media platforms, Deacon_Schiele, Corey Long, JC Allen, NFL. Gentlemen, always a lot of fun talking wrestling with you guys. I appreciate you all, man. You guys have a great rest of your week. Enjoy the fight.
You didn't give us your prediction.
Oh, okay. Well, I appreciate you giving me the floor, my friend.
On,
I think Seth Rollins. I'm going to go against the curve. I think the only guy that we're not talking about, Seth Rollins, I think he has a John Cena type of thing where he comes in, he throws over people and puts it. My whole thing is like there's so many. Corey and I were talking about this the other night. There's so many spots right now for these top tier guys. How do you? Like, you can't put belts on certain guys. Like, I just don't see Sammy and Drew having a belt going into WrestleMania. I don't see Gunther or Brock Lesnar having a belt going into WrestleMania because you need belts on whether it's a Punk, whether it's a Cody, whether it's a Rollins, whether it's a Reigns. Like, these guys need to be participating for belts at WrestleMania. So I think Seth Rollins comes in. I don't see how he's not. He's saying I'm taking my daughter to gymnastics. I'm taking my daughter to dance class. I'm not buying that shit. I was born during the day, but I wasn't born yesterday.
Not after SummerSlam, bro.
Not after SummerSlam. All right, fellas, you guys have a great weekend. Be safe for Gasparilla.
Hopefully we get snow.
I'll be safe in St. Petersburg, Florida. Trust me.
You guys are the best. Thank you all so very, very much. Really good stuff there, man, with our Royal Rumble roundtable. Easy for me to say. David Schiele, JC Allen, and Corey Long. Those guys are the best. I cannot wait, man, for the Royal Rumble. It is my favorite pay-per-view, favorite PLE of the year. All right, it's going to wrap it up for me, guys. Man, what a weekend ahead. We got Gasparilla tomorrow. We got Lightning practice, Bruins practice, and then Sunday, of course, the outdoor game. It's the Stadium Series at Raymond James Stadium. Make sure you follow me on all social media platforms at Recher. Like and subscribe on YouTube, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, TikTok, Instagram. I'm everywhere. Our guy Steve in North Carolina, as well as Chan. And then how about Victor? And then DT, David Terry, for the super chats today. You guys are the best. Thank you so freaking much. A big thank you to our guys, David Schiele and Corey Long and JC Allen and Erik Erlendsson for joining us on the program. Everybody have a safe weekend out there. It's Gasparilla. It gets crazy out there, okay? Be patient, be safe, stay alive, man. Do your thing. I love you all. Make sure you follow me because there's a lot going on this weekend. I'm going to go take a nap and then get ready for the weekend. I love you all. We'll see you on Monday at noon right here on the J.